listen up, because people are starting to hear and pay attention to and react to the growing problem of hearing loss and other conditions of the inner ear. And to talk to us more about that here at the BioBuzz Center, we're joined by Nawal Ouzren, who's the CEO of a biotechnology company called Sensorion. Thanks so much for being here.
Hello, thanks for having me.
So tell us first about the growing problems with the inner ear that I just made reference to.
Absolutely, it's a huge unmet medical need right now. What we know is that the numbers are just growing and growing. WHO just issued a report like raising the red alert. We know that we are living in more and more noisy environments. They are afraid that actually young people will be deaf by the age of 40.
Wow.
And it's also a huge issue, for people working like pilots, musicians, and for the veterans coming back from the field.
Yeah, tell us specifically about the problem with people who are returning from military active duty in war zones.
Absolutely. So we've been approached actually by several ministries of the Army, the DoD, and that's the #1 issues for them, for the veterans coming back from the field. Hearing loss is #1, tinnitus is #2, and then vertigo is #3. It just tells you, how difficult it is for them, in the field, and then they come back with huge health issues.
So Nawal, tell us about the 2 experimental therapies that your company is working on that are currently in mid-stage studies.
Absolutely. So we're a French biotech company and we develop inner ear therapy, so really drugs. This is the inner ear, this very delicate organ. It's actually extremely small. And there are 2 very important pieces for our health. The 3D that we see here, this part, is called the vestibule, and the vestibule is responsible for our balance. And here, this snail-shaped piece is called the cochlea, and it's responsible for our hearing. And we develop therapies for the vestibule and for the cochlea.
And the one for the vestibule is for the big problem of vertigo.
Absolutely.
Which you said is bigger than most people are aware of.
Absolutely. It's actually a huge unmet medical need. I was struck, when I started digging into the therapeutic area to understand that that's the primary reason for GP visit or for the emergency room visit. Vertigo, like spinning vertigo, crisis. And cochlea, the hearing loss, we just spoke about that.
That's remarkable. And the other one is for a form of hearing loss that is affecting hundreds of thousands of people.
Absolutely. So we first focused on a rare disease because we understand very well the pathophysiology and we think we understand well the target. So the disease that we will be investigating, the drug, is called sudden deafness. It's a rare disease. It impacts around 200,000 patients in the US and in Europe. It's very scary because it happens, from one day to another. And in 70% of the cases, even the doctor doesn't understand the root cause, like what's caused this sudden deafness. In 30%, it's after an acoustic trauma. So we spoke about the Army. It's maybe after a concert. And unfortunately, in 50% of the cases, it's irreversible. So you have damages in your ear for the rest of your life.
And so we'll see study results from you on both of those experimental therapies in the near term?
So for the first one, that is actually focused on the very severe vertigo. We are currently enrolling patients and we will have the data readout by the end of this year, so stay tuned. And the second one, we completed phase 1, so it's a very clean safety profile, and we'll start enrolling anytime, second half of this year.
In the mid-stage study?
Absolutely.
All right, Nawal Ouzren, the CEO of a company called Sensorion, thanks for the education on the inner ear and for the work that your company is doing, and we look forward to you making continued progress. Thanks for joining us here at the BioBuzz Center.